Hello. In previous videos we have already seen that microwave testing is not only useful to detect defects, but also for certain length measurements. Here we will see another example of this. Since a long time, certain aircraft's components are made from carbon fiber reinforced plastic, CFRP. Recent examples of aircrafts with high percentages of CFRP are the Airbus A350 and the Dreamliner Boeing B787. CFRP basically is black, but the aircrafts have to be colored. Therefore, they have to be painted. And paint has not only a design function, but also a protective function. Therefore, the paint has to have a minimum thickness value. On the other hand, the thickness has to have also a maximum value, otherwise the paint would tend to peel off. That means that the paint thickness has to be within a certain interval, and it has to be measured and non-destructively measured. Traditional methods for paint thickness measurements based on ultrasound and eddy current fail for this purpose because of the special properties of the CFRP below the paint. But the microwave-based paint thickness gauge FSC17 can do this task. Here we see the case with the FSC17, the handheld part, which works at a microwave frequency of 24 GHz, the control and display module, and further accessories. For more technical details of the FSC17, please use the link in the description of this video. In the following, we see a special application of the FSC17. To understand this, you should know that an aircraft has to be very accurately mechanically balanced for a smooth flight. Even the thickness and the weight of paint may play a significant role. In the following, we see the FSC17 measuring the paint thickness on critical CFRP parts before and after repainting an aircraft. The knowledge of these thicknesses allows to place the balancing weights as necessary and allows for a balanced and smooth flight. Well, now let's come to photo series when using the FSC1. Well, it's here done with the predecessor FSC16. What I'm showing especially to you is the more advanced FSC17. Well, this FSC16 was used when rebalancing the flight controls of a Boeing 737. Rebalancing the flight controls after repainting. Perhaps you know that these flight controls are very sensitive and have to be balanced, and especially they can be demounted from the aircraft and then measured on a gauge, but they can remain. Also, another alternative method is that they remain on the aircraft, and then also the paint is to be measured. Paint thickness is to be measured for doing the correct rebalancing afterwards. So let's look to this photo series, what I mentioned here. Well, the calibration in this situation was done on a rather small trim tab of the elevator, which had been demounted and which we see here. It was sanded on this part to have the surface of the CFRP bare, and then the calibration was done here using 4 calibration foils, or shims as they are also called, with thicknesses 100, 200, 300 and about 400 micrometers, and also 0, that means bare CFRP. This took about 4 minutes. Well, after this calibration, what we see here, a short functional test is done on the system on a place where some residual paint is, and we see it is of 13 micrometer thickness. Well, here we see the measurement of the paint thickness at the left side of the rudder, and so the paint thickness is measured point by point with about 20 centimeter distance in between. The pure measurement time is about 4 seconds. All the thickness values are stored. By the way, this older FSC16 consists of this hand module, and the control and display module was just a netbook. Now we have this more advanced display and control module, which I showed to you earlier. Here we see the measurement of the paint thickness on the upper side of the left elevator. Here we see it at the bottom side of the left aileron. And so the measured paint thicknesses, paint thickness values before sanding off the old paint and after applying the new paint were measured. Then a computer program subtracted them, calculated the torque differences, and calculated where the balance weights are to be changed, and then the technician can do that. So far, this special application of the FSC17. To measure the paint thickness on such particularly critical and also on less critical CFRP parts, the FSC17 is worldwide in use at aircraft manufacturers and also on companies which perform maintenance, repair and overhaul of aircrafts. Before finishing this video, let me ask you for the following. If you know about applications of microwave testing, please let me know. I would like to include them in this series of applications. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.